any man is going to walk accurately in the priestly ministry, then there are 7 laws you should know about. In this season, I am going to be consciously and intentionally teaching us these 7 laws, one after the other. You see, the first law we are going to be looking into today is the law of reflection. If a spirit cannot bring you to a point where you look like him, then that spirit cannot, through you, achieve his agendas on a territory. Because a spirit does not have a body, their primary objective is to find a body through which they can make their personality visible to men. And if they can find a body, a man who can represent them, who can look like them, then their agendas has been achieved 50% already. This is why every time God is always looking for a man who can stay with him, because whenever you stay in the presence of God, you begin to look like God. That is why I told you that one of the dimensions of priesthood is waiting upon the Lord. It is very crucial, because God cannot make you to look like him if you cannot wait upon him. Every man you have seen throughout the scriptures that walked in the priesthood ministry, that was an able priest unto God, that could achieve the agendas of God in his generation, was a man who waited upon the Lord. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. The reason strength is renewed, the reason you are given ability, energy, is because in waiting upon the Lord, you are given the opportunity to behold the face of the Lord. And when you behold the Lord, you are transformed. That is what 2 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 18 speaks about. Priesthood, first of all, achieves that you will begin to look like God. If a priesthood does not make a man to begin to resemble the spirit that is representing, then that priesthood is not an able priesthood. And this is why at the early stage of priesthood, what every spirit or spirit does when a man begins to draw closer is that they begin to strip you of so many things. They begin to encourage you to deny yourself. Jesus said, if any man must follow me, he will deny himself. Because for you to represent Jesus, you have to look like him. And for you to look like him, you have to drop your own identity. If you cannot drop your own identity, drop your appetites, drop your emotions, drop everything, then you cannot wear on you the garment of priesthood. You cannot represent Jesus to a generation. And this is the first thing priesthood accomplishes. If a man is not made to look like Jesus, if a man is not made to look like the spirit that is engaging with, then there will be no true priesthood. Because the will of God in every territory, in every generation, is so that the men there will begin to see him. And because God is a spirit, men lack the capacity to look upon him. And this is why he has selected a few people who can journey to this place in the spirit and begin to wait upon the Lord. As they wait upon the Lord, the Lord begins to strip them of themselves. Now I will read you a scripture to confirm what I'm saying. Exodus chapter 34 verse 34. It says, until Moses had done speaking with them, he put a veil on his face. But when Moses went in before the Lord to speak with him, he took the veil off until he came out. And he came out and spoke unto the children of Israel that which he was commanded. And the children of Israel saw the face of Moses, and the skin of Moses shone. And Moses put the veil upon his face again until he went in. You see here where we read, anytime Moses goes in to stay with the Lord, when he comes out, his face will begin to shine. Glory will begin to radiate through him, that people can no longer look at his face. His face was so shining that if you look at it, you can get blind. So he had to cover it with a veil. This is what waiting upon the Lord, priesthood, tries to accomplish. It brings you to a point where you begin to resemble the spirits that you have dwelt long enough with. You see, once he goes in and stays with God, sometimes 40 days, sometimes 20 days, sometimes 10 days, sometimes 7 days, when he comes out, his face begins to shine. And there is nowhere the children of Israel can doubt the existence of God as long as Moses is around, because Moses is a visible representation of the Shekinah glory of God. So you can no longer doubt that dimension, because there is a man who is living it. This is why Apostle Paul said that we are living epistles, that the Bible, people no longer have to doubt the Bible again, because once they see us, our lives are representatives of the dimensions of God that are recorded in the scriptures. This is what priesthood accomplished. This is the first law of priesthood. And this is why, as you want to enter into this ministry, first thing you must have at the back of your mind is that you are going to drop your identity. Who you are does not matter. Whether you are a weak man, it does not matter. Whether you are a masturbator, it does not matter. Whether you are a fornicator, it does not matter. Whatsoever you are does not matter at all. Because once you start engaging yourself with the Spirit of God, a transformation will begin to take place. A change, something will begin to happen within you, and you will no longer be the person we used to know you as. When you come out, people will say, is this not Jesus walking on earth again? When the people around saw the apostles and their way of life, they said, no, these people are Christ. They could not differentiate them from the personality of Jesus Christ, because these men have stayed long enough with Jesus that they were now visible representations. Even when Jesus had ascended to heaven, when you see Peter, you will see Jesus. When you see Paul, you will see Jesus. This is because of priesthood. This is the first thing priesthood tends to accomplish. Reflection. You must have to look like Jesus. You must have to look like the Spirit you are representing. You must have to have that identity, that power. And this reflection does not only come with maybe physical. No. It comes with dimensions of power, dimensions of possibility. The Bible says with God all things are possible. So it means that when you appear with you, all things are possible. There is no impossibility around you, because you have stayed long enough with the Spirit that you are now the visible representation of that dimension of the Spirit. So this is the first law of priesthood, and in subsequent videos I'll be teaching you the other laws of priesthood. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across all social media platforms. Thank you, and God bless you.